everyone, this is Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands. And today we are taking a look at this really cool vintage Gibson electric guitar from the 1960s. Kind of like their entry electric guitar from back in those days, but a hollow body entry electric guitar. So a really cool guitar, a model that we've actually covered on the channel before. This one is then from 1966. And yeah, this is an ES-125TC. So TC then stands for thin line cutaway, because obviously you have got a thin line hollow body. So it's kind of like, it's not as thin as like an ES, but it is definitely not a deep hollow body jazz box. And the C stands for a cutaway because you've got a Florentine sharp cutaway right here. And yeah, like I said, it's kind of like the entry level hollow body Gibson. So it is quite bare bone. You just got one pickup in the neck position, no fancy binding around the fingerboard. Just got some plain single ply binding around the body. And yeah, no fancy inlays and stuff. So that is really how these were kind of like entry level, but still made by Gibson, obviously in the 1960s. Just like the very high-end models like the ES-125TC, 345s and such, so made out of the same materials. But then this one is yeah, quite affordable even still nowadays, even though it is true vintage. It is still quite accessible as compared to like other models from those days. So a really cool guitar, and also in still a really bright sunburst colored finish. So let's dive into the specs. So we have got a laminated hollow maple body, so laminated maple top, sides and back. And on the back we've just got this uniform cherry red stained finish. Then again on the top, the original sunburst finish, which is still very bright. We actually also have this model from a different year, and that one is also, or was originally, a burst finish, but that one has just completely faded, whereas this one is basically just completely preserved. So that is very cool to see. You've then obviously got dual sound holes, F-holes on either side, single P90 in the neck position, original P90, which sounds exactly as you would expect it to sound, just really good, really great obviously for jazz, then also combined with the hollow body construction. You just got a simple plain faux tortoiseshell pickguard, which is actually also in a really nice shape, which hasn't really like warped or anything at all, because that kind of like tends to happen with these old faux tortoiseshell pickguards. Not the case with this one, so that is a big bonus. Got the original rosewood bridge, which is a floating bridge. Also then features a rosewood base underneath it, and it is also then compensated for your intonation. And then got your original floating trapeze tailpiece, and then a master volume and a master tone control just for your one P9 pickup. Pretty sure that these knobs have been replaced, or at least the tone knob, because that then has kind of like the more modern font on it, whereas this one has kind of like the more old school font, but that one also just looks a little bit too nice. But obviously that is not a really big deal. You have then got your input jack over here on the side. Moving on to the neck, mahogany neck with a rosewood fingerboard. I'm guessing that this has kind of like the more narrow style nut, because this definitely does feel a little bit more narrow than most guitars made by Gibson at the nut. So I'm guessing like 1 9/16 of an inch, or maybe a little bit larger than that, but definitely a little bit more narrow, but still really nice. Also then got kind of like a, yeah, I would say just like a medium sized neck. So not too big and not too thin. Definitely a C shape, and just yeah, just plays really nice. It's also pretty worn over here on the back. Hopefully you can see that, but over there on like the upper frets, it is quite worn, so you just got your bare wood pretty much over there, but no neck breaks or neck repairs, so that is actually really nice to see. But you've got some pretty significant wear over there on the back, also here higher up. Also got some dings, some impressions into the neck, but nothing that is really too concerning. So yeah, Kind of like in contrast to the rest of the body, the neck is quite worn there on the back, so that is good to know, but also then just makes for a really nice playing neck. So very smooth and very easy to play. Also then got a strap button added over here at the neck heel. Rosewood fingerboard with some pearloid dot inlays. Also then got the original frets, what appears to be. And then the headstock featuring your Gibson silkscreen logo. And your blank trusswell cover, just plain black. And then on the back we've got the 3 on the side Clusen tuners with the plastic white tips. And then you've got your original nut over here. And then last thing to mention, it also comes with a case, a chipboard case, probably not the original one, but a very old one also from the same era. But it's kind of like hard to distinguish if it is original or not, but it's definitely the style of case that this one would have come in. So it is vintage correct, but it is not the greatest case, as in that it is not that sturdy. It's basically just made out of cardboard, which is what these were made of, these types of cases. But again, it just, it is correct. So yeah, that is cool to then have that included. So yeah, that's pretty much all that there is to cover of this very cool hollow body Gibson from 1966. Like I said, it's kind of like just an entry level model from those days, but still just built by the same people using the same material, so it just sounds really great. But it is also just very simple, so you just got your neck pickup, no fanciness going on, so it's basically just plug in and go, which is also a very cool thing to have on a guitar. It really kind of like makes you play a little bit differently. As opposed to having like 2 pickups or like fancy dip switches and stuff and all of that stuff. So yeah, just a very cool guitar, really cool to have in the shop. Let's hear what it sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this 1966 Gibson ES-125TC, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of cool electric guitars like these, cool acoustics, bass guitars, even all of that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on our socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's see what this 1966 Gibson ES-125TC sounds like. Going to be playing through this Fender Pro Reverb from the late 1970s. I'll just play it like with the tone on 10 and then also the tone all the way rolled down, because you don't really have a lot of options with this. So that you can get a decent impression of what this very cool hollow body 1966 Gibson sounds like. So let's then move on to that part and let's then take it for a spin.